Canada and the United States, that would really be something.
From sea to shining sea, from Panama to Canada, USA. Hello there, you awakening wonders. Thanks for joining me for this. Remember, if you want access to all of our content, get Rumble Premium, because Rumble Premium is expanding more quickly than Donald Trump's America. Is Trump serious when he says that Canada should become the 51st state and that even Panama could join a new United States? Is that desirable? Is that the kind of centralization and territorialism that the MAGA movement stands against? Let's have a look at these stories, see how much of it is trolling and how much of it is legitimate, and how it contrasts with the kind of expansionism we've become used to through corporatism, commercialism, and imperialism, usually masked and veiled by bureaucracies. For example, look at the power of the WHO. Did you vote for him? Look at the power of NATO. Did you vote for him? When is imperialism not imperialism? When they make it so boring we don't notice it. Let's have a look at some of Trump's jibes and where it's likely to lead. Starting off with Canada, the potential 51st state.
Mr. President, if we were to work under the assumption that you're serious about making Canada the 51st state of the United States, the leader of the Conservative Party in Canada said, under no circumstance will it ever be the 51st state.
Maybe he won't win, but maybe he will. I don't
point, you had suggested.
Listen, I don't care what he says.
But Sir Lopez, you said you were considering military force to acquire Panama and Greenland. Are you also considering military force to annex and acquire Canada?
No, economic force. Because Canada and the United States, that would really be something. You get rid of that artificially drawn line, and you take a look at what that looks like, and it would also be much better for national security. Don't forget, we basically protect Canada. But here's the problem with Canada. So many friends up there.
This is happening so fast. I don't know. I can't make sense of it. Canada, it's an artificial line. Yep, that's all countries. The concept of a nation, yeah, I suppose it is just made up. The whole thing's an agreement. I've got friends up there. This is crazy. I mean, everything's on the table now, isn't it?
I love the Canadian people. They're great. But we're spending hundreds of billions a year to protect it.
It's too expensive to protect Canada. I didn't feel like Trump's pre-presidential period would raise such significant ontological questions such as whether or not a nation is really a nation. And the simple fact is that all nations are a kind of agreement in our imagination. It's always astonishing when people question the idea of faith in God, when we all have faith that flags and countries and songs about countries are irrefutably real. Oh, look at him. He's amazing, isn't he? This is a new type of politics. This is what Musk had to say. There isn't a snowball's chance in hell that Canada will become part of the United States. Workers and communities in both our countries benefit from being each other's biggest trading and security partner. Girl, you're not the governor of Canada anymore, so it doesn't matter what you say. Wow, this is a different type of politics. But is there something more significant in Trump's conversations and reflections on Greenland, which isn't even green and was only given that name to encourage Vikings there? I learned that from horrible histories.
Well, we need Greenland for national security purposes. I've been told that for a long time, long before I even ran. I mean, people have been talking about it for a long time. You have approximately 45,000 people there. People really don't even know if Denmark has any legal right to it. But if they do, they should give it up because we need it for national security. That's for the free world.
It's just a different type of politics. Even when it is sort of brazen, actual old school imperialism, like we're going to take over countries, it's being done in a way that, I mean, I admire the sort of brashness of it. Look at the sort of, if you think about what's happening between Ukraine and Russia, with one side saying this is Russian imperialism and Russian war crimes, and the other side saying this is an insidious bureaucratic attempt to control Ukrainian territory and resources and to set up a bulwark against Russia right against its border. You know, it's just interesting to have this world leader saying Denmark should give up. I don't even, if they've got any legal right to it, they should give it up.
I'm talking about protecting the free world. You look at, you don't even need binoculars.
They're out the window now, binoculars.
You look outside, you have China ships all over the place.
All around Canada.
You have Russian ships all over the place. We're not letting that happen. We're not letting it happen. And if Denmark wants to get to a conclusion, but nobody knows if they even have any right, title, or interest. The people are going to probably vote for independence or to come into the United States. But if they did do that, then I would tariff Denmark at a very high level.
Tariffs, man. Them tariffs. We're hearing a lot more of that word than we used to. Tariffs are the real threat. Let's see what Michael Tracy is saying. New MAGA rule, somehow not globalism to annex new swathes of territory around the globe in the name of fighting China and Russia. Okay, here's Trump on the Panama Canal, because it's sort of an omnidirectional attempt to corral new territories. It's a fascinating new world, man.
To Greenland and the Panama Canal, so forth. Can you assure the world that as you try to get control of these areas, you are not going to use military or economic coercion?
No.
And can you tell us a little bit about what your plan is?
No.
Are you going to negotiate a new treaty? Are you going to ask the Canadians to hold a vote? What is the strategy?
Yeah, I can't assure you. You're talking about Panama and Greenland. No, I can't assure you on either of those two. But I can say this. We need them for economic security. The Panama Canal was built for our military. I'm not going to commit to that now. It might be that.
Okay, so here's Whitney Webb on this. People should consider that arguably the main interest in Greenland and Canada from the Trump camp and Musk is related to vast mineral deposits, particularly those necessary for the energy transformation and EV revolution, that is directly tied to the business interests of Musk as well as other prominent big tech figures. For example, aside from Musk and Bezos, who recently gave very generously to Trump's inauguration fund, backs a firm called Cobalt Metals, along with Gates, Reid Hoffman, both backed Kamala, and Mark Anderson, currently advising Trump on tech policy that is drilling in Greenland for EV-related minerals. Northern Canada also possesses significant deposits of minerals essential to EV production. The digital transformation that these Silicon Valley oligarchs are attempting to manifest would admittedly require all of the known deposits of lithium, nickel, cobalt, and several other minerals across the planet. The US itself is not necessarily rich in these minerals, with some occasional exceptions, but some of its neighbours are. If you're cheerleading for this, be aware that it, one, will help accelerate the sustainable development digital transformation that needs these minerals. Specifically, two, it's not it's not in the interest of the public of anybody in these countries, but instead the interest of mainly American tech billionaires. And three, will devastate the environment of Canada and Greenland. Mining these things can permanently wreck the environment and water table. Four, boosting access to EV metals will also likely require existing incentives to purchase EV cars in the US to stay, so these mining ventures have a hard ROI. Trump has spoken about removing them, but his ties to Musk and other big tech billionaires suggest it's unlikely. So Grand Canyon University, a private Christian university in Phoenix, believe that we are endowed by our Creator to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness from the Constitution. A Christian university, eh? GCU believe in equal opportunities and equip everyone to serve others in ways that promote human flourishing, creating, as they believe, a ripple effect of transformation. Whether your pursuit involves a bachelor's, a master's, or a doctoral degree, GCU's online and on-campus learning environments are designed to help you achieve your unique goals. Why don't you learn a bit more? With over 340 academic programs as of March 2024, GCU provide you with a path to fulfill your dreams. The pursuit to serve others is yours. Let it flourish. Wow, it's a pretty profound goal, isn't it? Because everything we do is about self, and this is about service. Find your purpose at Grand Canyon University. Private, Christian, affordable education. Visit gcu.edu/Russell. That's visit gcu.edu/Russell. 2 S's, 2 L's. Give it a try. Thanks. Of course, whilst there have been significant political changes, there are still ulterior economic and business interests that appear to direct and determine the direction of global government. Worth keeping an eye on that. Let's see what John Fetterman, who's the Democrat that it's okay for MAGA to like, says on this subject.
There's a lot of talk about Greenland, for example. Now, and I know there's a lot of freakouts, and of course I would never support taking it by force. But I do think it's a responsible conversation if they were open to acquiring it, and whether just buying it outright. I mean, if anyone think that's bonkers, it's like, well, remember the Louisiana Purchase? Well, I think Alaska was a great deal too. $50 million, I think it was. It was referred to as Seward's Folly, and now that was Alaska now. So I mean, open to having all kinds of conversations as well. And now I don't think it's not helpful to freak out, but some things might work out, some may not. But that's part of an ongoing dialogue. But he hasn't even taken office in 2 weeks, and we really need to pace ourselves if we're going to freak out over every last tweet or every last conversation or press conference. Because, but
that's good. That's a good one, John. I like it. I like it.
Yeah, but I mean, it's like we are here to work together.
Yeah.
And some things we can agree or disagree. But I think that's how DC works.
The United States of America then set to expand potentially, or do you see this more as a kind of public relations exercise? It's interesting, I suppose, to acknowledge and explore the idea that nations are formulated on the basis of faith, that America in particular is a relatively modern nation that has expanded in multiple directions. There's no real reason why Hawaii is part of America. There's no reason that the UK owned India for a bunch of time and still owns the Falkland Islands. Colonialism, imperialism, and the centralization of power is always faith-based, and unless these structures of power are beneficial to the people that live in those countries, I would say that there's usually an agenda that's almost necessarily benefiting elites, whether they're old or new. But that's just what I think. Why don't you let me know what you think in the comments and chat? Remember, if you get Rumble Premium, you get ad-free content as well as additional content from us. More important than that is that you please, if you can, stay free. Hey, thanks for watching. If you want to see more uncensored content where free speech can flourish, join our live stream. Click the link right here to watch the next video if you want to, or become a member of a growing movement. Download the Rumble app and you'll be informed every time we make a new piece of content. Stay free.